Han Li only discovered upon arriving in the spirit realm that the once powerful nascent soul cultivators were now commonplace, forced to serve their races for 300 years for free, and even reduced to cannon fodder during alien invasions. When Han Li first attempted to sneak into the spirit realm, he encountered a deadly spatial storm at a spatial node. To save his life, he had to self-destruct his heaven-reaching spiritual treasure, the 8th spirit ruler. However, the survivor's cultivation plummeted, and his personal magical artifacts were almost completely destroyed. He was immediately in dire straits, lying in the depths of the desert for 3 months before being rescued by a passing mortal caravan. There, he learned that humans were practically worthless in the spirit realm, constantly at risk of being divided up by alien races. Later, Han Li went into hiding, secretly investigating, and finally figured out the power structure of the spirit realm. The spirit realm's racial power was clearly hierarchical, like a pyramid, divided into 4 tiers from top to bottom. The difference between each tier was like heaven and earth. The first tier consisted of small, barely surviving races, and even to enter this tier, the minimum requirement was to have a Mahayana stage cultivator in charge. However, even so, they could only huddle in the most desolate and remote corners of the spirit realm, building cities, and living in constant fear, knowing that the slightest mistake could lead to their annihilation by a powerful race, without even the right to resist. The second tier consisted of slightly stronger, medium-sized races. Their entry requirement was 3 Mahayana stage cultivators in charge. They mostly lived in resource-scarce areas, lacking the strength to stand alone, and could only depend on larger races for survival, living at the mercy of others. The third tier consists of the major clans of the spirit realm, each requiring at least 10 Mahayana cultivators. These clans often have top-tier Mahayana cultivators as their trump card, and some even have true spirits protecting them, ensuring their immortality for millennia and securing a place in the spirit realm. At the very top of this pyramid are the 10 super clans, each possessing over 20 Mahayana cultivators and multiple true spirits supporting them. They control the spirit realm's most valuable resources, making them the true masters of the spirit realm, wielding far greater influence than other races. In contrast, the human race at that time only had 1 Mahayana cultivator, Mo Jianli. Even more critically, humans lacked any racial talent. While humans possessed formidable physical strength, making them unmatched in close combat, and the Fuyo clan was proficient in the jade insect technique, capable of summoning countless insects, the human race was physically fragile. To achieve the same combat power as other races, they needed to exert several times, even dozens of times, the effort, often finding themselves at a disadvantage even in duels of equal strength. Furthermore, due to their handsome appearance, human cultivators were frequently abducted by other races, used as slaves, concubines, or subjected to utter trampling of their dignity. But that wasn't the worst of it. The weak human race not only suffered humiliation at the hands of other races in the spirit realm, but also endured repeated invasions from the demon realm, becoming elixirs for demon cultivators. This was because the spirit realm and the demon realm were on the same level, and their realms would overlap periodically. The demon realm's holy race would send avatars, leading countless demons through spatial rifts into the spirit realm, burning, killing, looting, and committing all sorts of atrocities. The demons, however, dared not provoke the powerful races like the teacher's race, and could only vent their fury on the human race. Human cultivators, in particular, were a great source of nourishment for the demons, resulting in devastating losses for humanity after each demon invasion, with corpses strewn across the battlefields. Survivors could only struggle to survive in the ruins. Generation after generation endured this dark and hopeless existence until Han Li's appearance finally brought a glimmer of hope. However, Han Li's path to rise was not smooth sailing. Instead, it was fraught with thorns and life or death struggles. Having just entered the spirit realm, Han Li had lost all his cultivation and magical treasures. Before he could even gain a foothold, he was attacked by a massive beast tide. Countless ferocious beasts swarmed in, each possessing strength comparable to a nascent soul cultivator. In this life or death moment, Han Li relied on the body refining techniques he had cultivated in the human realm to withstand the beast tide crisis and save his life. But this was only the beginning. He was then pursued and challenged by the spirit race. As a major race in the spirit realm, the spirit race had always looked down on the human race. Seeing that Han Li was merely a low-level human cultivator, they wanted to control him and seize his body. But they never expected that Han Li's purple Luo extreme fire had already been honed to a divine level. On the verge of death, Han Li seized the opportunity to counterattack, devoured the oaths of the spirit race cultivators, and refined the infinitely powerful devouring spirit heavenly fire. He not only killed several spirit race cultivators but also seized their divine blood, laying a solid foundation for his future advancement. What truly propelled Han Li to fame was the appearance of the Xian Tianzhonling sword. This treasure immediately rose to the top of the Chaos Myriad Spirits ranking in the spirit realm, possessing the power to slay demons and monsters and break all laws. Such a supreme treasure naturally attracted the covetous eyes of powerful beings from all races who vied to seize it for themselves. However, they all ultimately became victims of Han Li's sword. Han Li, relying on the power of the Xian Tianzhonling sword, combined with his body-refining techniques and the devouring spirit heavenly fire, slew all the powerful figures who came to claim the treasure. Later, the true immortal Ma Liang descended to the mortal realm, slaughtering living beings everywhere to commemorate his magical treasure. Even dozens of renowned Mahayana cultivators in the spirit realm perished under his sword. At a critical moment, Han Li, using the Xian Tianzhonling sword, launched a sneak attack and annihilated this god of slaughter. After this battle, the entire spirit realm was in an uproar. Han Li was recognized as one of the top 10 super strongest beings in the spirit realm, and the name Han Chenzuan resounded throughout the spirit realm. As a result of Han Li's rise, the human race's status has also risen, and those races that once bullied the human race no longer dare to act recklessly. The human race has finally escaped the fate of being at the mercy of others.